And we are live, and we're still, I don't have to set up the cameras again. So, hello, everybody. Welcome to Honey Badger Radio. Sorry about the problems.
The slightly later than our usual late start?
Yeah, like a little bit later than normal. My OBS crashed, and I had to scramble to like restart it. I don't know what it is. Maybe, usually what it is a plugin that doesn't like whatever version I'm on. So sorry about the delay. And I mean, all of this is kind of last minute. Hannah wasn't able to do a show today. So
yeah, thank you for your patience. Yeah, we sort of had to throw together a show last minute. Thankfully, we had something in the pipeline. So to respond to, we're going back to SheraSeven because we hate ourselves and we want to self-flagellate. And she is the perfect means to do so. So the last episode that we did on SheraSeven, if you guys don't know, she's a very it's getting up there. She's almost 750,000 subs, and she's a female dating strategy guru, which honestly, she very much looks like she isn't spending a rich man's money. So she's looking a bit like she's saying she knows what she's doing, but she doesn't look like she knows what she's doing. If you get what my drift, sort of like
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, like a Wall Street stockbroker who rides around in a Toyota Corolla. I mean, maybe he's very frugal, but then you also have to like scratch your head a little bit. She could be hugely frugal. She could be a really frugal person, and she could have a billionaire in her back pocket, but it doesn't look like she's spending a millionaire's or a billionaire's money. So, buyer beware in taking her advice, especially when she's giving advice to women who are dating engineers who are finishing up school to, she basically says, well, I wouldn't stick with it.
Yeah.
I wouldn't stick with a man who doesn't come to the relationship with millions. I wouldn't stick with a man who looks like he's probably going to end up making significantly more than average, but you have to wait for him to actually get through school and get a job. I wouldn't do that. You do you, though, sis. You do you, loser. But it's like, pick me. You do you, pick me. But she doesn't look like she walks her talk. It doesn't look like she's got a rich man in her back pocket. So I'm not exactly sure why women are taking her advice to get a rich man. Seems a little bit counterintuitive. I mean, at the very least, when, today Tate presents himself, he presents himself as what he thinks his audience wants to be. But essentially, she's presenting herself as not having achieved the very thing she tells her audience that they will achieve by listening to her. Probably not. So I'm wondering what she really is selling, and I think she's selling cope, sour grapes. There is no need to, I don't know, be a pick-me. You can spend your life just wanting to be picked by the perfect man. Don't be a pick-me. Just spend your eternity trying to figure out exactly what you'll take for being picked.
Yep.
Just spend eternity waiting to be picked. But this is the wasting your life on that's fine, because you don't want to undersell your value. Your rapidly decreasing value. God damn. Anyway,
she was looking for Wall Street, and she just got Wall.
She got Wall Street, all right.
She wanted the Wall Street. She just got the Wall.
I'm just putting it out there. Like, it's one thing to, talk about getting in relationships when you're an older woman and, and wanting a companion and presenting yourself as somebody who knows how to land a rich man when you obviously haven't. You get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I wouldn't, like, if she was a woman who's just like, I'm older, I'm interested in a companion, I'm going to do my part in the relationship, I'm going to bring something to the table. No problem with that. No problem. The problem is she is somebody who says, I've got a rich man, I know how to get things from rich men. She's selling herself like that, and she does not look the part. And also, it's unethical to encourage people to engage in this kind of con artistry. I mean, we've called Tate out for that in the past. And I think this is genuinely worse. She is
absolutely worse.
Yes, it's
I think
worse.
so.
Okay, so
Yeah.
worse because the amount of intrusion into people's lives is greater. It's one thing to send money to an OnlyFans model because she gives you a sob story. It's another thing to tell women, and this is something that she does, to show up on the doorstep of a rich man in the middle of inclement weather and feed him a line about being homeless in order to acquire your target, is what she says. That is like you're now in his space. You're now occupying his physical resources, and you're doing so under false pretenses. That's getting to be a very shady, sketchy, and sort of, I think that might be criminal too. So, but anyway, this is what she does. She counsels women, and I think ultimately what she's counseling women is to just feel sour grapes over the fact that they have not bothered to start their life. I mean, really, like if you're just sitting there getting dusty in a corner waiting to be picked, like who the hell do you have? Like, what position are you in to judge women who just decided to start, that just was like, okay, you are a good companion, let's start a life. What position are you judging? Like, your entire life is about being picked. Your entire freaking value is about being picked. And you turn around and look at women like me who are just like, okay, I like you. We have good simpatico. We seem to share some of the same ideas and values, and let's start a life. It's not settling in so far as you're settling for another person. It's just getting on with things. You know what I mean? And that's it. Like that, I got picked 27 years ago and moved on with my life. But she is sitting in the state of getting dustier and dustier in a closet, waiting to be picked by the perfect thing that will validate her entire existence. I mean, from that perspective, who is the real pick-me? Okay, just pointing that out. Just laying it out there.
But yeah, so let's get into the video.
Yeah, I know. This is a long preamble.
Do you want to do some things before we start?
Oh, yes, sure. If you at any point throughout this show you would like to contact us and ask us a question or make commentary or defend this woman and her philosophy of life, then you can do so at feedthebadger.com/support. And no, sorry, not feedthebadger.com. Yeah, forget that. Erase that from your memory banks. Feedthebadger.com/justthetip to send us a message and a tip. We get the full benefit of whatever funds you send, and you get the benefit of not sending your comment through the YouTube comment thresher. And also, if you're on X, which quite a few of you are now watching us on X, hello, welcome. You actually have a means to send us a comment through feedthebadger.com/justthetip. So please avail yourself of it. Maybe one day I'll get like a nicer, like a sexier URL that sends you directly. But for now, it's feedthebadger.com/justthetip. And like I said, send those comments whenever you want. And if you're interested in more commentary of a little bit of a different sort, we do like we talk to our patrons and we discuss things with them. And I also do a sort of a podcast that's more about writing and storytelling and sort of making meaning out of the stuff around us. If you're interested in that, you can get a subscription at feedthebadger.com/subscribe. And I am still working on setting up the monthly fundraiser, so stay tuned for that because it's a little more complex this month because we got to pay for the meetup, which is another thing that you might be interested in. We are doing a meetup in Calgary on the 28th. It's going to be at 12 is it PM? It's PM, right? 12 PM. Like if I say AM, yeah, noon. Okay.
Yeah.
Just go with the word. Around 12 noon at Reader Rock Garden in Calgary. And Calgary, Alberta, Canada, for those of you who don't know, that is the site of where we got kicked out of the expo, where I got kicked out of the expo and everybody else got kicked out with me. Because I think I was the main target. But anyway, so it's Reader Rock Garden, Calgary, Alberta, Canada, 12 p.m., September 28th. So be there or be square, be a rectangle of some type or description. Okay, back to you, Brian. Let's get started with this.
All right, let's get into the video. So I picked a few time codes. Last time we did
On your
this,
topic.
So last time we did this, this is a 3.5 hour live stream that SheraSeven did. Goes to show how much free time she has. I couldn't look if I'm doing it for 2 hours. I start to really struggle. Like I just want to I just get really tired. I don't see how she does it. But I guess again, you're in your bedroom, you're comfortable. You could probably just veg out for hours and hours on a live stream. And she is essentially just reading her chat for 3.5 hours. 672,000 subscribers. I'm just putting it out there. Last time we went through this beast of a video, Alison picked out a few things she wanted to respond to with regards to the topic of her video, which is pickmiesha picks the bottom of the barrel men. So we talked a little bit about what she means by a pickmiesha, what are her points, and again we are talking about a live stream that's very repetitive and rambly and long and not focused and not concise. So it's like being sent to a dreg heap to find like an edible piece of moldy bread, like just not even gold, not silver, no precious metals, just like something of some sustenance that you can at least pick up and look at and say, yeah, there might be something in here. Yeah, there might be something of value. So now I picked out some clips of where Shera doesn't talk about pickmieshas, but instead talks about dusty men, which is all of you out there in the audience. All of you are basically like subpar men. And the first clip, I just picked a few. It's a 3-hour stream.
The only difference between a non-subpar man and on par man is if he values himself so little that he believes he should not just pay for everything, but do everything. Essentially, like crawl into her flippin' skin and just be her. Just do everything. And then she says, if you don't encourage a man, or if you aren't capable of inspiring a man to basically do everything for you, then I guess you're a low value woman. But like, what if you're a woman who just sort of is okay with doing things for herself? You know what I mean? Like I talked about how you missed the window for having a man wipe your ass, so you got to learn to do that yourself. Shera. But what if you're just somebody who enjoys doing things for themselves, get some satisfaction out of that, and that you also don't mind doing things for other people because you enjoy the feeling of helping, of being of service. Like, what if you're that kind of woman? Does that make you low value? So low value women are women who enjoy doing things, period, for themselves and others, who have a sense of self-reliance. And low value men are men who have any sense of self-worth and don't see themselves entirely in terms of service to women. So I mean, when she says you guys are dusties, I would honestly consider taking that as a compliment. And when she says, if you're a woman, she's saying you're a pickmiesha, which is basically every woman, I think, but her, because she is so high value. She ain't ever going to be picked, friends. She is so high value. There isn't a man in the universe who's going to pick her. So she's definitely not a pickmiesha. So everybody else besides her is a pickmiesha. And if she calls you a pickmiesha, well, I would consider that to be a compliment too, because you are capable of enjoying your own self-reliance. You're gonna pick your eggs. You're gonna pick those chicken eggs, and you're gonna put them in your chicken apron, and you are going to be a useful human being that feeds others. God damn, that's just a worthless. Consider it a compliment. Whenever this woman insults someone, you should give yourself a pat on the back that you're doing something right. All right, I just wanted to put that out there.
All right, that's fine. Let's play the video. All right, so I'm playing it now.
Oh, Valerie, what is the best way to handle a man that tries to push my boundaries, doesn't take no for an answer? Then have a price on the answer. Okay.
No. Is that the full clip?
No. Okay. Let me play some more of it.
All right. I'll shut up.
All right. Give me 30 seconds, okay?
Mm-hmm.
You won't take no for an answer. Okay, well, if I do this, then you need to give me this much money. If you start charging, they'll start taking no for an answer. I promise you. Because every time somebody asks me something I don't want to do, I put a price on it. All right.
All right. So you know what they call it when a woman puts a price on doing things for a man? Is there a word? Isn't there a word for that? Like a job title? I feel like.
Uh, well,
No, she is
honestly,
talking about sex.
oh, she's talking about sex.
Mm-hmm.
Because it could be emotional labor with these women.
No,
too.
again, this is like long-winded stuff. The context is the woman was saying, I'm with a man who is sexually aggressive, pushy, and she's claiming he doesn't take no for an answer. Obviously, she could just destroy his life by making an allegation, and there isn't much he can do. But instead, she's reframing it like, well, you could do that, but why don't you hold on to the detonator and don't press the button? And instead, what can you get out of that? What can you get out of that man? So, I mean, that's what I think. You know, she's not very direct, really, when it comes to stuff that might implicate her, but that's my suspicion, my theory.
Okay. How about this? Leave.
Well, she will if the guy is no longer a utility.
No. Yeah, don't make
I
these
mean-
bargains and ultimatums. Just grab your freaking dignity and leave. Like, say no and move on. Like, I have done that with pushy men. Like, I'm not interested in that. Let us move on. Let us part. You go find a woman who wants to be pushed, you know? But to put a price on it. So she's essentially saying that if she puts a
She
price on it,
sees this as an
they'll stop.
opportunity. Well, either they'll stop or they'll pay the price.
So basically she's for sale. Okay, well, I think fundamentally that's one of the problems here. A pickmiesha, apparently in her world, is a woman who isn't for sale. Like, it's really interesting because there's this TV trope that's like, evil doesn't understand good. You know that TV trope?
Mm-hmm.
She doesn't understand the concept of not being for sale. Like, there are, I will run a business. I will put out a product. If you're interested in that product, you can purchase it. If not, fine. But there are things that are not for sale, right? My opinion, my body, that kind of stuff. That is not negotiable. And I don't like necessarily being pressured into having a certain opinion or being forced to do things with my body in certain ways, right? Non-negotiables. You just walk. And the thing is, I don't think she understands the pickmieshas aren't for sale. It's not that they're going for a low price. It's that they are not for sale, right? Pickmieshas choose based on different factors than what I don't think she comprehends that. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah,
it's like
sure.
She thinks that they've settled for a low ball offer when what they've settled for is a person who gives their life meaning. Settled. They found a man who gives their life meaning, who shares values, who they enjoy building something with, and they've committed to them because they aren't for sale. You know what I mean? The relationship, the interaction isn't a monetary thing. It is an emotional, spiritual, an ethical, because you want somebody who shares your ethics, that kind of thing. And women who live their life that way often don't get taken advantage of by men, because there is this saying, you can't cheat an honest woman. Right? If that's what you seek, that's what you get. If that's what you honestly seek, not a man to fix your life, not a man to pay for you, or to asymmetrically pay more in the relationship, but you actually seek a life partner who shares values and philosophies and ethics and a goal and gives your life meaning and purpose, because honestly, I think that's what life partners should do. I know we're all about the complete autonomy, the cynical, we're just brushing past each other like two ships in the night. We don't actually integrate in any real sense, because God, that would be intimacy, and we're all terrified of that. But why would you be with someone who doesn't give you purpose? Get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do, but I think that her goals are not to find someone. I guess like the female dating strategy is about like getting a man to settle down with, but it has to be the man that offers the most possible benefit and the least amount of risk or labor. So they think they're trying to min-max relationships, and it's a very cold and almost like analytical but really dehumanizing way. Like, the men are not men, right? Their wallets, their credit limits, their homes, their vehicles, their trips, their, occasionally maybe they, if they're even in it for the sex, there's some sexual pleasure angle in there. And that's how it's broken down. That's like it's like, I don't even think it's the mirror. This is why I say I don't think it's I think that Andrew Tate is a lot less awful, because the red pill guys are, very few of them could actually use all of the tools that the red pill bros that are selling them are, selling. So like, Andrew Tate's lifestyle can probably only be accomplished by a very small percentage of men. So most of the men who are followers of his and that listen to what he says, even though he doesn't really say the same things he used to, none of those guys are going to get to that level. So they're just kind of like trying to, get something that will give them enough market value to attract a regular woman. They don't want to be like, and I'm not even, this is assuming that any of the stuff these guys boast is true, because I don't necessarily believe that, with most of these guys, that they're actually as sort of like sexually successful as they claim. I just don't think it's true. But barring that, even then, most of the men who follow these guys, they can never get to that level. So they're not going to benefit. In fact, they're probably just going to end up getting frustrated in their own way. So ultimately, it will harm them. But with these women, because women have inherent value based on their youth, at least, young women are just going to, I think that it's going to do more damage to relationships when young women see men as nothing but essentially a vehicle for material gain and status and a way to make other women jealous and to go on trips, etc. And it's not fulfilling ultimately, especially when you're younger. So I think that basically what I'm saying is that what Shera is selling, women can actually like use, but what like the red pill guys are selling, most men won't be able to take advantage of.
Well,
they may learn a few things from it, but I don't think it's going to pan out the same way for them.
First of all, red pill bros, we should go back to the pickup artists. Let's go back to like.
We can just, it's the same thing. It's the same thing. PUAs, whatever.
Oh yeah, but the red pill bros are a little bit like, okay, well, let's get away from that conversation. What Manifestel is saying is going to destroy already existing relationships. Like I watched her inject poison into an already existing relationship that was probably going to turn out just fine for the woman, right? She might not end up with a multimillionaire, but she's going to end up with an engineer. She's probably going to have a very decent upper middle class life. It's perfectly fine. And I watched this woman inject poison into it. So her advice is going to destroy existing relationships. Her advice is also essentially like to create a situation where women get everything and men get nothing. What is that? That is dishonest and it's abusive. Like, at the very least, the red pill bros expect to bring something to the table. Like, they expect to have a job. They expect to do the manly things, right? They expect that there are going to be expectations placed on them in the relationship. They're not just going in saying the woman pays for everything and cleans up and has the
Right.
kids,
Well,
raises
that's what
kids.
exactly. That's what the red pill bros even tell them, that they have to be like,
Mhm.
that they have to be active. They have to, produce. They have to do what they would call what men do: go out there and build and
Mhm.
create and fight her battles, etc. So there is still a lot being asked of those men, and I think that most men are looking for that. Like they're not
Yeah, they're not looking
looking
for
for
a complete
handouts. They're not.
one-sided pin.
No. They want to be able to like act in the world, and what they want more than anything is to be appreciated for it.
Mhm.
And that's so like you're right. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like this is not a both sides thing, because
Yeah. Yeah,
these female
honestly, I
dating
have to concede
strategies
that too.
people are like all about take, and anything
Yes.
that they give you, you should be like falling on your knees and thanking them for. It's like this is not the same. So
Yeah. Yeah.
um
Yeah, it's
anyway, I
because it's
gotta
entirely one-sided.
it's completely
The
a
man's
one-sided
consent is
relationship.
irrelevant. The man's comfort is irrelevant. The man's resources are irrelevant. Providing anything in return for the man is irrelevant. Yeah, the red pill bros, I mean, aside from Tate, who's unique, um, they do think that a man needs to provide. They think that a man needs to be manly. They think that a man needs to lead. That means that not just do what he wants, but know what the woman needs ultimately and provide it for her, which ironically is exactly what Shera is asking for or demanding, but apparently wants to give nothing in exchange.
Yeah.
But like I said,
Well,
she's poisoning already existing relationships. She is providing cope for women who want to live their entire life in a state of not of almost being picked. I know it's not being picked, but it's almost being picked. Because somebody who lives their entire life waiting to be picked is so much less of a pick me than someone who just got on with things. But anyway, so it's like it's a and ultimately there's no relationship in which you can create this perfect, clear, one-sided thing, right? This is an impossible relationship that she's presenting. All relationships will fall short. All relationships, the woman will end up being a pickmiesha, because there's no way you can get away from. You can't take away the satisfaction a man who sees himself totally in service, the satisfaction a man gets in providing money to his findom. You can't take that away, so it's not one-sided anymore. You see what I'm saying?
yeah.
Any emotional satisfaction a man gets in the relationship, and suddenly the woman is a pickmiesha because she's giving him something. Anyway.
All right, I had a super chat, a couple of them. Albert Native Retro gives us $10 Canadian and says, "Wait, Dusty, like Dusty Rhodes, hard times are when a man has worked at a job for 30 years. They give him a watch, kick him in the butt, and say, 'Hey, a computer took your place, Daddy.' What hard times? Or that's hard times." Thank you for that. And then Celine gave us $1.99. Thank you, and says, "I like princess treatment and reciprocating." Yeah, that sounds normal.
Yeah.
And healthy, actually. So yeah.
I mean, if
All
you're
right.
a princess who wants to treat her man like a king, that's yeah. Well, it's a little Renaissance, but it's still reciprocating, right?
Indeed. All right,
Yeah.
let's play some more. I got the next. This is timestamp number 2. So I'm going to play it now.
Yeah.
Cross them if it cost them.
What, they won't cross them? What?
Yeah,
What
but
was the
leveling up.
context of that?
Well, no, well, I couldn't get exactly to where the timestamp starts because we're
okay.
talking about 3 hours. So she's about to say it now.
Okay,
This is
all
the
right.
actual start of the thing. Okay, here we go.
From your child's father. Get another man with more money and never look back unless you have to for visitations. Focus on that. Focus on leveling up to a man with more money. That means focus on yourself to get to the point to where only men with money are able to date you. Okay? Mentally.
What the
Gotta level up, Allison.
But you don't. Okay, is this the culmination of giving women autonomy over their own lives?
I don't want to say it, but
it's just the elephant in the living room. Like, okay, so the way
the
that you
elephant in
level
the
up
freaking outhouse.
is you choose whatever man is available to you when you are young and fertile and you have his children. Like, what's the point of having all these resources if you produce dysfunctional children? You know, the resources are supposed to go to children, not just you, not just your gigantic vein of pre-trash that you're constructing there. Ugh. You know, I've always think about that. Like, when I die, will anybody want to keep anything that I have? Is there anything unique enough to be kept? You know what I mean? Or is it all just going to be piled into a U-Haul and dumped? And then that's the sum total of my life, a gigantic pile of trash. And I guess we're all competing on making it bigger. Okay, go ahead.
Oh, well, no, I was going to say, do you think that's what's going to be left of you is all the shit that you bought in your life?
Well, me? I hope that, you know, like maybe the art, maybe the analysis I've imparted, you know, the writing that I've done, like the things that I've created might be of value to people. But the things I've bought are just in service of creating things. You know what I mean? It's just in service of being creative or building a life, or if you are somebody who has children, feeding, clothing, and raising healthy children. Resources are for something. Not just like pre-trash. Like this is her monument, a gigantic like that like I was talking about the previous one that we talked about this, the goblin woman with all the crap on her back. That's what this is.
Yep.
This is the don't be a pickmiesha, be a goblin woman with a gigantic pile of garbage on her back. And don't accept starting your life with a life partner until he can promise you an even larger pile of garbage.
Yep.
Winning.
All right.
Okay.
Let's play some more of this. Now she's going to say the thing. Okay. So, well, she started to, but yeah, about the money. Let me see. 36, 34. Yeah, a little bit more.
If your baby daddy has money, then find one with more money. Okay. Congrats.
You don't value the
So-
relationship between the father and the children.
Right. If your baby daddy has money, but he doesn't have enough money, despite the fact that he is the father of your child, find another man that has more money and go with him. Do you think this might contribute to the fatherlessness problem we have?
Oh no, that's just deadbeat dads, Brian.
Yeah, that's just deadbeat dads not stepping up,
And
guys.
Traditionalists, that's what they tell me.
Yeah,
just-
I know.
it's
I hear
men
it
are
all
to
the time
blame.
too. They're not taking responsibility, blah, blah, blah. The government tricked the women into marrying it, but the women, they can't do anything about it. They get incentives, financial, all over the place. You want tax breaks? You want to get a big ass return? You want to get a cell phone? You want to get a house? You want to get a car? You want to get like food stamps? There's videos of women, single moms with multiple kids from multiple baby daddies doing the math, showing you this is how you game the system. Here's how I get this much money. And it's actually predicated on what is the absolute worst case scenario for her and her children. But because she gets gratification in the short term, none of this other stuff matters. And women like this, they treat it the same way. It's all just like, it's like numbers on a chart, you know? I'll just move this over here. And the men, they don't matter. I mean, like the man that doesn't make enough money to make her happy might be willing to break his back to support his children, but that doesn't matter because he's dusty now, even though she got pregnant by him, assumedly by her own choice. So yeah.
Yeah, I mean, because we're not talking about abuse or sexual violence situations.
No,
Yeah, I mean,
no,
that's
obviously
a
not. We're
completely
talking about
different category.
women
That's-
chose to have sex with a dude, chose to like do it unprotected, chose to let him nut inside her, chose to keep the baby, chose not to give it up for adoption, did not choose abortion, did not choose like to leave it at a firehouse or a church. Like all these options, she didn't do it. She just kept it. And now she's just like, well, fuck him. But I mean, this is normal.
Okay, let me put it this way. There are a lot more women taking advice from this woman than men will ever be able to live a life like Andrew Tate and be
Absolutely.
exploitative like him.
That's
Like
my
it's
point. Yes.
yeah, it's just unless you are like an MMA fighter who's ripped and also I don't know, he seems weird looking to me, but yeah, I guess he's attractive. He's tall.
Well, when you have enough money, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, exactly. But I mean, he managed
So-
to use his lover boy method on women, so presumably he's attractive to something. But regardless, like he's most men aren't going to be. That's not a lifestyle accessible to most men. She's preaching a lifestyle that is acceptable to women. Get rid of the father of your children. Don't care about the relationship between your child and its father. Go for yourself. Go get more resources elsewhere.
Mm-hmm.
And this is actually really interesting because I took a primatology course in college, and she basically is expressing the goals and emotional range of a chimp. Is that edgy?
No, I agree. I see what you're saying. Yeah.
No, I mean, because literally what you learn is that chimpanzees, the males compete over reproductive opportunities, the females compete over resources. And chimpanzees are not like humans. Humans have a very different social structure, starting with the fact that we trust each other enough to share a language. Like we are willing to share the ability to communicate with each other. So that's something chimps there's not enough trust among chimps to create a language. But and she's like literally she's like, yeah, let's just chimp out, ladies, and let's just go for the basest instincts, which is resources from men. Not
Yep.
any of the higher stuff, not love, not affection, not making sure our children have a father so that they're equipped for their future lives. No, let's just chimp out and go base. Like let's go back to monkey.
Return to monkey.
Return to
Yep.
monkey.
All right. Let's play the next soundbite. I'm gonna play it now. No sound, please, because it'll change the camera. So here we go.
When you walk out the house, man. Okay, it's not about other people. Get the bag first. The friends and then the providers will come after. Promise you.
All right. Get the bag first, she says. Like forget friends, forget providers. Basically, it's just really kind of how do I put it? It's just cold. It's just really cold. So, I mean, I picked these clips just to show you essentially what she thinks about men. I mean, I don't know how else to put it. They either don't exist or they exist to be exploited.
Yep. And conversely,
So I
what
guess
she thinks about women.
You're probably better off not existing because then she doesn't notice you.
Women either wait to be picked in a corner and support her in her endeavors, or they're pickmieshas, and also this is like, what is the point to your life? Like, has this person ever just sat down and thought, hey, I'm going to die. What happens? Like, what have I left?
Well, I know people who literally don't care that, like what happens. Like they're just like, well, I'm going to turn into dust and I'm going to like return to the earth and no one's, eventually people are going to forget who I am. I forget my name. So, I mean, there are people who legit think it doesn't matter. I'm not one of those people, but
Yeah,
he might be more inclined to be like, well, I want to get everything I can. And I imagine, I'll make a prediction. I don't think we'll ever learn the truth about it, but I imagine she's going to end up like these women, like Madonna, who essentially spend the rest of their life, no matter how old they get, trying to stay young, trying to stay relevant. You know, like if you look at, I watched the movie Dick Tracy. You ever see the Dick Tracy movie, Alice?
No, I don't think so.
I never saw it before, but I watched it. I watched most of it. I haven't finished it yet. I watched most of it not long ago. It was like came out in 1990, and it had like Warren Beatty in it, and all these like big actors, and they all had like these crazy makeup. That's why I want to watch it for the makeup and the costumes and the music and everything. It was Danny Elfman who did the soundtrack. Anyway, Madonna's in the movie because at the time she was, you know, really, really popular at the peak of her career, probably. And she was playing the main character. And when I saw her, I was like, holy crap, I forgot that Madonna used to be somewhat attractive. Like today, she looks like that Muppet from the band, you know, the
Janice.
Janice. Yeah, she looks like like so many women that get a lot of work done end up looking like Janice from the Muppets. And you know, and I'm like, well, the only thing I could think of that's causing this is that she doesn't want to not be like, she doesn't want to come back down to earth and realize that she is a mortal woman with a limited amount of time on this earth, and she may have like regrets about life choices. I know that she was like with Guy Ritchie for a while, and I don't know if she has kids. I don't know if she's a mother, but I think all that has passed her by, and now she's not willing to face the reality of that. So she's just doing concerts, like 60 years old, you know, getting all this plastic surgery, probably getting BBLs and all this other crap so that she can like still look like she did in 1984. And she just doesn't. Like, it's obvious to anyone who's paying attention. Her skin is so tight, you can bounce a quarter off of it. And I feel like this woman's going to end up in a similar place as a lot of women are heading, because they also were convinced that being a girl boss for your whole life and never like, you know, seeking anything else, never asking whether like what is on this earth in this world at this point in life is actually really what's important. And because they have so much pride and they have no humility, no desire to look at themselves, take a hard look and say, you know, what have I done with my life? Because they won't do that. They refuse to, because it's too painful. Then they just double down on that. They double down until, you know, they become something that is unrecognizable, which is what happened to Madonna. And I'm going to make a prediction that may very well happen to this woman if she doesn't like,
She
you know,
just
really
doesn't have the same money though.
She doesn't, but she might. She's banking on finding the guy, and she thinks that if she stays on this course and continues to level up, which of course she can't level up much more, because as she gets older,
She levels down.
She's gonna level down, yeah. But I mean, I don't know. Maybe she's gonna find, like, I think that there is one of the time codes I got is her talking about getting with a much older man. And I think that she doesn't say it explicitly again, because they never do. But the idea is maybe I'll inherit all his shit when he passes away. And that'll be like my ultimate reward, my ultimate level up.
Ugh. Okay, let's move on to the next time code.
Right.
Which are we at least 3 in, or?
This is, let me see, where are we at now? 45, 48. So this is actually the 5th time code, the one I'm about to do. It's the 5th one.
Okay.
So jumping ahead to 117, 09. So I got to go back a little bit. Sorry, I don't want to miss all of the context here. So I'll have to listen to 15 seconds.
I'm
Don't
guessing
talk
there's going to
during
be
this
another
part.
goddamn snicker.
Yeah, there'll probably be another snigger. All right, here we go.
And act like you're having a breakdown. Girl, sometimes you gotta fake it, man. Sometimes you gotta have a fake.
She hasn't done it yet. I'm gonna play it. It's at 117.09 and I'm at 116.57. So
Okay, just
don't respond to this yet.
Okay, just give me a moment. All right, guys, we're doing a lot of work here. Please go to feedthebadger.com/justthetip and give us a tip and a comment, so we can do something other than listen to her a snicker.
Yeah. All right, here we go.
Okay. See if he really love you, or are you just a roommate? Sprinkle, sprinkle. Just give him notice. They'll say, I'm not going to be able to do this anymore. I'm tired. I'm you know what? I'm giving you the duty of paying all the bills because I know you can do it. You're a man. You're a real man. I respect you. You're so smart. Like, girl, tell him all this stuff you need to hear. You could probably get a second income or work from home and then do another job or start a business or whatever. You could do something, side hustle, whatever. But I'm not going to be able to do it anymore after. Give him a time. After 2 more months, I'm done. Just telling you now. He gonna figure it out.
Does this
Or he's
community
gonna
have a lot of
let you know.
problems with dusty men? I mean, it sounds like most of the they're making some very it's really weird because chimpanzees, they have a promiscuous mating system, right? And they have a hierarchy, but for the most part, a good portion of what will happen is there'll be a coalition that takes over the troop, a coalition of males, and they'll all sort of get an opportunity to mate. And then the coalition will change in a year or so, or a couple years, and then they'll all get an opportunity to mate. So ultimately, over the course of a lifetime of a male chimp, they generally do actually achieve reproductive success, but it's promiscuous. There's no pair bonding. The males don't generally do a lot of parental activity with their children. No, even though in that circumstance, somehow chimp I don't know what, I guess children is close enough. They actually do benefit from having their father around somehow. They don't know how, but they just do.
Maybe we just call them baby chimps. I don't know.
Chimps.
I think we call them that.
Okay, baby chimp.
There's probably like a scientific term that's a lot better, but yeah, go ahead.
My overall point in pointing this out is that they don't, like, there's no real resource provision from the male chimp to the female chimp when it comes to child rearing or anything. The female chimp is on her own for developing resources. So we've got this very bizarre situation. And I don't think it's actually justifiable, because while these women are going after dusty men, which incidentally, there's a picture being painted that a dusty man, because it's not just, a dusty man is on their radar because they are having sex with them and they're apparently having children with them. But it seems like a dusty man is actually a man who is significantly more attractive and or has more social clout, something like that. And they want to have children with them, but they just don't have the financial resources. So they have the child and then they have to go grope to find resources. But this is not something that you see in the wild. This is like wanting your cake and eating it too. This is the behavior of a promiscuous mating system, also trying to also be a pair bonding system. You see what I'm saying? Like, they're promiscuously mating with the dusty men. Sorry.
No, it's okay. Go ahead.
And they're trying to find a provider on top of that, which isn't how humans do. That's half how chimps do and half how humans do. But what humans generally do is pair bonding. And I know some people are like, no, but it's actually true. The fact that human beings are pair bonders is like an uncontroversial fact in anthropology. It's a fact that other things are hung on. Like, how did that evolve? And essentially that evolved from two things: resource provision by the male and preference by the female. So the only reason why pair bonding evolved is because human females develop a preference for a male, and they stick with that male, and then the provision gets incentivized. So that's how, that's the main theory on how it evolved. I shouldn't say that's finalized, because there's nothing really is final in science. But so what I'm seeing is this sort of weird, screwed up combination of promiscuous chimp mating and trying to have a pair bonding system. And honestly, what I've heard come out of this kind of scenario is that the guy she has children with or a child with will always hold some element of connection to her. And I don't just mean like financial, legal, social. I mean sexual and emotional. And the guy who comes into the picture to pay for that will always be on some level second place to the man she had children with, because we aren't promiscuous breeders, we're pair bonders. And she's going to make that connection with the father of her children or the fathers of their children. And men who just walk on and give her resources, you're not going to be in the same ballpark. Like it's really highly unlikely. Like she's already made that kind of biochemical connection to a man or men, as the case may be. Maybe if she has multiple babies, I don't know if it works that way. But that's something to consider. Like,
one of the clips I have is of her talking about having like orbiters, or taking advantage of orbiters and guys in the friend zone. That's one of the clips I have, because they are being used as utility. It's not an accident, according to her. So, I mean, it makes sense.
Why do I have
it
a
makes
visceral
sense.
reaction? Like, I'm just being
Well,
weird as a woman, because this gives me a visceral reaction of disgust.
I'm not saying it's normal. Maybe I know there's women watching, but I think that there are women who do, in fact, have men around them that they know are attracted to them, but they're not attracted to those men, but they keep them around because those men could be useful. And they're basically beta orbiters or guys that have been put in the friend zone, but they want to keep them in touch because, again, it's like having a spare, if you need it, and they'll use them. I know a guy who was, well, years ago, but he had a woman who used him as an emotional tampon whenever she would like get done wrong by some guy that she was fucking, and she would use him as the emotional bounce back, but never did anything with him, and kept him like close by. And then when she would start like fucking around with another guy, she would like complain about the other guy to this guy, right? It was just, I was like, dude, this is an abusive relationship. I know you don't think so, but you should not put up with that shit. And I was in my 20s, so it was a long time ago. By the way, I had a birthday yesterday. I even forget to say it. So
happy birthday! Oh,
yeah,
I'm
it was
sorry.
yesterday. No, it's okay. It's all right. No, but it's fine. 51. That's all I'm going to say.
Congratulations.
Well, I am still here. There is that. So I'll take it. But yeah, no, I mean, that totally happens. And what I think when she says dusty men, I think what that means is men that if she is Medusa, these are the men who meet her gaze but turn to stone. And so like they are men that she's obviously would have sex with, take an interest in sexually, but when she finds out they don't live up to her standards financially, even if they're got everything else together, like they don't have kids from other women floating around, they're working on like their education, or they're working on a career, or they're building something, but they're still in the early stages of whatever that is. I think that the best way to guarantee that, or at least help make that successful, is if a woman comes into the man's life and becomes a support, a helpmate to him to help him build that. But women like this don't want to be a part of the support system. They don't want to be the cheerleader. They don't want to help. They just want to benefit. So they're just like, well, until you show up with everything set up, I'm not going to look at you. So I think dusty men are men who have essentially, like you said, they're not meeting her financial standards or economic standards, but they might meet other standards. They might be attractive. And then like other men that are, that don't do that, like they're just regular guys that are struggling, just like everybody is. They're
not even on the
freaking economy. Yeah, they're not even on the radar. They're not even meeting Medusa's gaze. They're like they're in another they're in the Parthenon somewhere else.
Men in like Homath server call it not people.
Not people. Yeah, the not people category.
Zone. Yeah, yep. I don't know. Like there's just things about this that are.
But I did get some Super Chows and stuff, and I do have more time codes.
And maybe it's just a matter of mentality, but it's like I just going back to the pick me thing. So if you stay in a state of wanting to be picked, but not believing that anybody is worthy of picking you, you're essentially staying in pick me mentality for the rest of your life. Like and is that your only value? Like, maybe some women are like, they just grab a man and they're like, okay, let's build. Like, I got an idea, you got an idea, they're compatible, let's build. Like, that can't possibly be a pick me, because you're done with it. Like, if you want your pick me stage to be like, very short, how can that define you for the rest of your life? Like, I just had a checkbox. I'm like, okay, check, got it, done. Let's move on.
Yeah.
And because I didn't really enjoy being in the stage of not being picked. But if you think about it, being in the stage of not being picked is focusing on being picked. You know what I mean?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, sure. And once you're like in a relationship, I mean, now you're like, okay, I'm done. Now I can get back to having a life.
Yeah,
I can actually start living my life. Well, not that you couldn't do it before, but you know what I mean? Like, now I've entered a new chapter, and this is going to be exciting, right? So
yeah, it's like, let's get on with things.
Yeah. So I got some Super Chows, and I got a big one too. So Codger Dodger gives us $50 Super Chow. Thank you, Codger Dodger. I will play you I'll play you a voice line from Oliver Reed, one of my favorite people from Hollywood.
There are going to be a lot of people on this program that will laugh at that, and there will be several who will probably be quite indignant. I'm not indignant, because this is indicative of the bad manners of a lot of chauvinist ladies.
All right. Thank you. Very super classy takedown on the part of Oliver Reed. And then Meredith G gave us $5. Thank you, Meredith, and says, dating show, Honey for the Badgers. There's a part of me that wonders if the grifter gives bad advice because there is a perverse thrill she gets destroying lives. Just a thought. Well, I do think that this is a way of competing with women. I have considered this for sure.
I think.
I think Manifestel does it too. I think that like they give women really bad advice, and it kind of like gives them a bit more of a secure position.
Misery,
especially if they're shooting for like really high value men. Like, why wouldn't you take women out of the competition? Not only does she snicker like Muttley from the Wacky Races, but she actually tries to sabotage the other racers.
But it's like I think people underestimate, because there's interesting qualities about the way that pair bonders operate. And even like promiscuous, like chimpanzees will sabotage each other's mating opportunities. If a female chimp wants a particular male chimp and he's going after another female chimp, she might actually do like a distress call and then just rush in and present herself. So I mean, there's all kinds of things that and in particular, what they're noticing in biology is there's all kinds of competitive strategies among women or female animals, including like sexual aggression, like up to the point. Well, I mean, if it was human, we would probably consider it a form of rape, but they're animals, so they got different. We have a different conception of consent. So, for example, the topy antelope, the females, a female who is less desirable female will insert herself into the mating of a male with a female that he desires. So, I mean, at that point, that's sort of like rape by deception in our context. But, in their context, it's just, all fair in love and war for the topy antelope. But, so we're seeing that there's a lot of aggressive strategies. And since human beings are pair bonders, and we sort of have this kind of unique setup where we're not just pair bonders, but we don't like form these kind of nucleuses around a pair bonding pair. Like, for example, wolves or other kind of pair bonding animals. Generally, the social group is the pair that is the breeding pair, and then their offspring from various generations. We actually have extended sort of tribes, which even goes beyond. Like, we have the clan, which is like maybe multiple generations of breeding pairs, but then you have even bigger, which is like different lineages of breeding pairs, all managing to coexist within a social structure, which means we have different social pressures and different ways we express this kind of competition. With wolves in particular, the dominant female will suppress the mating of all the other females. So they'll go into heat, but the dominant female, well, the mother female usually, but sometimes there are some stranger animals, will prevent all of the other female wolves in the pack from mating. So I think that there is actually this competition where a woman who either perceives herself as high status or is high status or wants to pretend to high status by engaging in this behavior, they will actually destroy the mating opportunities of other women and try to control them. And that will either be because they want to maintain their status, because they can, because they're high status, or it could be because they want to generate the perception in themselves that they're high status. That makes sense. And I think She-Ra is in that category of she wants to destroy the relationship and reproductive opportunities of other women because it generates a sense that she has that power, therefore she is high status. And I say that based on that one we talked about in the previous episode, that one moment where a woman is talking about being in a relationship with a man who is going through engineering school. I've repeated that. And she, without directly saying, oh yeah, he's not good enough for you, poison the relationship by saying, I wouldn't do it. Like a woman who is high value like me, you might be lower value, but I'm high value. I wouldn't do it. And the thing is that all the woman has to do is wait. He's probably going to get a job. They're probably going to be comfortably upper middle class. Maybe he'll get some business opportunities that could pay off really big, right? Because there's lots of like innovation and engineering and software that can end up paying off real big. And she will have opted out of it just because this woman said, I wouldn't wait. Yeah, that's destructive. That's poison. And I think that is because she wants to feel like she has control over other women's relationships because that makes her feel like a dominant alpha female. Okay.
All right.
That's my analysis of that.
I got more Super Chows. So Richard Bier gave us $5. Thank you, Richard, and says, could pair bonding also have been a response to sexuality? I think he means sexually transmitted infections or diseases that could result in sterility or even death when left untreated. And before treatments were developed, being too casual with sexuality would be playing Russian roulette blindfolded. I mean, I think syphilis was like a big thing back in the day.
Yeah, it's because it came from the Americas. Like Europeans had no defense against it, really. Yeah. Because it was we had this conversation about smallpox, but syphilis was introduced from the Americas to Europe. But we did miss I don't know if you did this intentionally, but you missed the Codger Dodger Super Chow.
No, I read that one. Oh, wait, no, I started to, and then we got, because I played the Oliver Reed thing, and I didn't read it. Okay. Yeah, so, okay. Allison, we don't call them monkeys anymore. Can't take you anywhere. Okay, thank you. And then Richard Bier gave us $5 and said, Muttley, don't just do something, stand there. Stop the pigeon. Okay. And then let's see, we got a Rumble rant because I always give those the next step up. NovaFan21 gave us $1 and said, Snicka, please. And then we got a super chat from Albernator Retro, and he says for $2 Canadian, Madonna played Breathless Mahoney. Yes, that's right. I remember that because I'm watching the movie. So, all right. Anyway, that's that. So I don't know if did I play the next clip already? Yes. It was about being okay with using men. So let's move on to the next one because we're trying to get this under a certain amount of time, right? So
yeah, it's not going to happen, I don't think, but we'll try.
Yeah. All right. 139. 40, 50, 40, 139, 40. So I got to go back a little bit right here. It's fine.
Somebody that ain't got no money. Tell the married women. Tell these young girls what it turns into. Now, that bank account don't get boring, no. Them luxury vehicles and that house don't get boring. Them vacations don't get boring, though. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, they do.
So y'all have to think about this. If y'all are young,
Yeah, so she's talking to young girls now, telling them, there is only what you can get. There is only what you can get in this life, essentially is what she's saying, right? Vacations, clothes, money, credit cards, cars, whatever.
I think honestly we're seeing an existential crisis here of meaning.
You mean like with this woman?
With
Because I
all
can
of
tell
these-
you with like people in general, like a lot, like most of us are struggling with this, and I think that it's partly because of how good we all have it. It goes back to that paradox I was talking about, where the more comfortable we are, and I'm not saying we could. The Tocqueville paradox. And I'm saying that it doesn't mean that you can't find meaning in a modern society with modern conveniences. I'm not saying that we got to go live like the Amish or be Luddites. I'm saying that we're taking for granted how good we have it. We're not like most people just don't count their blessings on that front, especially if you live in a Western country, even with all of the problems that we have. But more than that, they think that for whatever reason, what it means to live is just to like, I don't know, get more of what is out there. Like I'm
I just
pro.
find it.
What? Go ahead.
Well, I mean, if I was a person who really wanted to get meaning through physical things, I would be choosing a lot more valuable physical things than what she's presenting. Like honestly, like if you're getting value from Bed Bath and Beyond tchotchkes, $50 pillows, I don't know, a $250 headboard, fabricated wood headboard. Like, really? Is that what you're getting value from? Like, if you're gonna go do this, go big. Like, get the silk rugs, get the elaborate wood carvings from Bali, the silver filigree, the one of the kind prints and art paintings. Get the actual furniture that's built by an actual carpenter, not just prefab off an assembly line. Like get custom stuff, like really good custom stuff that makes you satisfied to look at it, as opposed to just cheapo mass-produced crap. And that's what the funny thing is. Like, look at her. And I'm not saying that that's a bad life. It's fine. You want decoration in your life, that's fine. But if you're going to hinge your entire purpose and meaning on things, get better things.
I guess. I mean, like, I think that, I don't know. She adds to the waste in the world.
No, that's what I'm saying. Like, don't add to the waste in the world. Get better things. If you are going to take I'm not saying that this is the way to go, Brian. I'm just saying that this is your choice. Get better things. Get more unique things. Get more expensive things. Get more things that are original. Get things that actually have some value, some actual value to them, not just mass-produced crap on the first story of like a bungalow in like, what life are you selling here? Because a woman can have your life with a guy who makes $45,000 a year. And yet you're saying don't do that. Why?
Yeah.
Like if she was surrounded by, I don't know, Tiffany and silk, like 200 count silk rugs from Persia.
Tiffany's.
And actual handcrafted furniture and I don't know, really expensive sheets and pillows and really looked like she was spending money. Maybe it would be worth it to say, hey, wait for a man who's rich, but she ain't got one. And if a woman wants her lifestyle, a man who makes $45,000 a year probably can afford it for her if she has a part-time job on top of that. So why is she saying, yeah, they dusty? Like, you get what I'm saying?
I do.
I know it's a crass
But
analysis.
women don't hold themselves to the same standards they hold men. So it doesn't matter. Like, I mean, I guess what like maybe she doesn't know what high-end expensive things actually looks like. Maybe she came from nothing. And maybe that's where this attitude, this materialist, like, let me, get everything I can while I can attitude comes from. This idea that once, maybe she was really poor growing up. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if that was the case. And it made her resentful. Sure.
Go ahead. It made her resentful.
Well, I mean, I don't know. I'm speculating. So what made her resentful? And so now it's like, now I'm going to get mine. That's all.
Yeah, but like I said, it just comes down to this. If you want to find meaning in things, get better things. Get your man to give you better things, give you the money for better things.
Yeah, but again, we come back to the problem. Because if you don't value the man, on some level, he's not going to value you enough to get you the things that are probably like that have the value that you hope. Like, certainly not sentimental value,
Yes.
So because you don't care about him, he's just a means to an end. And I think to some degree that is going to be impact like what he does for you. Because I think that when you don't value your partner or someone you're seeing beyond what they can provide, I think on some level, even subconsciously, they're going to know that, and they're going to be they're going to be more reserved with like what they share, right? And again, I think that what another definition of a dusty man probably is a man who does have all of these good things, but he's not making you exclusive. He's seeing other women and he's giving them stuff. And by that, like, he's not going to like, spend too much money on a bunch of women when he can spend enough to keep them, hanging on. So anyway, let's
go to the next one.
Yeah, let me jump to the next thing, but let me make sure I didn't miss any super chows or anything.
Let me just put it this way. I am meeting her where she is. She wants to get her value from the things that she can get, right?
Sure.
She doesn't want a greater purpose. She doesn't want to talk about legacy. She doesn't want to talk about building or creating anything. She wants to find her value in the things she can acquire. Fine. Even by that metric, you're not there. Yep. You're just not there. And it's funny because I don't even think she realizes she's not there.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Let me play some more.
Those things don't ultimately give your life meaning and value.
No, they don't. Let me play some more, but we're gonna wait.
I will say there is some art that I definitely like.
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna play more. Let's be quiet. 10 seconds before the clip actually begins, but I can't get it closer, so we're just gonna play it from here. Don't respond to these 10 seconds. All right, here we go.
You're choosing his money and his lifestyle. Okay. All right.
So you're choosing his money and his lifestyle. Excuse me, lady, but again, I'm sorry. I gotta get back to this. Like, what lifestyle do you have? You're saying, you lady, you don't take. I mean, she's actually making women worse off than her. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah,
there you go. And they're obviously enjoying it to the tune of nearly 250,000 subs. Okay, I will shut up now.
All right, I'm playing it. We're not even there yet. Well, we just got there, I think. Yeah, we're just getting there. Okay, here we go.
College guys, paying for dates is not a provider. Yeah, in training. But whose money was it? Their mama's money? Can they pay for a vacation? Can they pay your car note? Like that's the difference. But if you're in college, you're supposed to be having fun anyway. So it's okay. But when you get to the age where you're trying to consider dating seriously for long-term relationships or marriage, you got to date for lifestyle.
All right. So college women, you're 6 figures in debt, going to college, hunting men, because that's like one of the primary reasons women go to college, having fun, and men are supposed to have some kind of feeling about women like that are out here in colleges having fun, getting an education, which we know the education they're going to get just makes them hostile towards men anyways, and they don't get a job most of the time. Plus, most of them aren't even trying to get a career. They're going to college to find promising men that are going to pursue a career. So you're in the rat race. Like if you're a college student and you're a boy, you may not know that you're in the race already at that point, even if you're legitimately just trying to get an education. How many women are going to college just because they got grants on the basis of them being women? They get grants, they get scholarships, they get preferential treatment. We already went through all of this. And if they're like Black women, it's even more of that. Black women are the most educated group in America. And when I put education in quotes, because it's crap. Like they don't know where the countries are. It's just the education is garbage. But they do get the debt. The debt is real. The education is fake. And they get all this debt, and then they look for a man that's actually good, like meets a certain standard, and that man has to pay for her dates and her car note, because she said it, pay for her car note, her trips, and likely her debt. And she's just fine with that. Like, and this is what legit happens, like all the time.
I just want to say, she says date for lifestyle. Consider the lifestyle.
Well, essentially date the lifestyle that you want. So you're going to like basically say, I guess, but I mean, it depends. Like, well, if you got beer money, you don't get to go on champagne dates. I thought this was equality.
Yeah, but date for lifestyle. Well, where's the lifestyle that she's acquired through her strategies?
Wayfair
honestly,
furniture. I don't know. What is that? Aaronson's?
I really like. This is what I'm getting at. Don't let this woman ruin, your lifestyle or what you want, because she's not showing that her strategies gain her anything except, what you're seeing. Unless she's got like some like Malibu mansion hidden somewhere. She gets off the set and everything is like just silk rugs and Tiffany and all kinds of amazing, I mean, like the lighting, and all kinds of just astounding stuff, and marble statues and all, and a fountain that flows wine and cheese. Who knows?
Don't forget about the fondue.
Yeah, exactly.
The chocolate fountain.
The chocolate fountain, a permanent 24/7 chocolate fountain in her foyer. And she has the double staircase and the butlers and everything. And she just has it off screen, Like, she's not, like, her strategies have gotten her that lifestyle. The lifestyle you see right there. Okay? You can get that with a man who makes $45,000 a year, right? By staying with him and not listening to her is what I'm getting at. Her strategies have obviously failed her. And if there's not a return very shortly, then I think we can consider her strategies to be permanent failures. Okay. In terms of her own metric, which is everything is judged by what you can get, right? She ain't getting a lot.
Yeah.
And
unless she's, I mean, I would imagine if she had succeeded, she wouldn't be making videos. She'd be living that best life.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you probably don't see a woman who's actually married to a billionaire doing stuff like this. But regardless, my point is that she's selling something. And in the process of selling this, she's selling a strategy that isn't delivering what she says it is. Because at least Andrew Tate has like incredibly good looking women on his arm, right? And when you look at that, you see, okay, well, Andrew Tate can get incredibly good looking women to do his bidding. Maybe if I listen to him, I can get, Betty down the street who's, like maybe a 5.5 to pay attention to me. Right? So there's something that maybe, he's indicating that his strategy has worked at least for him.
Mm-hmm.
There's no evidence that her strategy even works for her. And yes, I know it is completely bankrupt, which is probably why it hasn't worked for her. But consider, her almost 750,000 subscribers. Consider that she is the best counterexample to why you shouldn't listen to her. Is what I'm getting at.
Yeah, no, I get it.
Okay.
I mean, I think. Well, anyway, let's continue.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I keep digressing into this.
It's okay. I'm gonna play now. This is like 5 seconds before she gets to her point, so let her get to the point.
You was out with that other man and you almost got busted. Save it, use it, flip it, and then get a gift out of it. If you're smart, you got to save up stuff. Then you can throw it in his face and make him buy you a gift for lying to you. Oh, honey, 88, sprinkle, meeting a potential provider. You're scared your main provider will find out how to deal with the stress of getting caught. He don't provide 100%. He cheats. That's why I'm meeting a girl. First of all, if he cheat and don't provide 100%, you shouldn't be worried about losing him at all. Okay. Number 2, if you're going to date someone, go to the other side of town. Okay. There you go. And the only way you're literally going to get caught is if he goes to the same exact place.
So essentially, what?
Which essentially cheat. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, normalize cheating, I guess. Like, what if you? I mean, it sounds to me like she'd be okay with you having a side dude on the side if you just suspect the man you're with is cheating. Because you could just be upfront and be like, okay, look, this isn't working for me. I don't work this way, whatever. But no, instead it's like, well, I think something shady's going on, so I'm going to do some shady shit too. I guess 2 wrongs make a who cares. So anyway, I got a super chat that I didn't read. I'm going to get it out of the way. Albert Nida Retro gives us $5 Canadian and says, to be the man, woo, you've got to beat the man. So hawk Tua and spit on that thing. Woo, thank you. And then he gives another $2 Canadian and says, the Tate Bros and other painted up 14-year-olds. All right.
Nobody is like, the thing is that a lot of the things that the Red Pill Bros just make me shake my head too. It's like, I remember somebody came into my Twitter and they were like, well, but it's okay when men cheat. I'm like, no, it isn't. And they said, but it's different. And I'm like, yes, but ethics and morality, that's that we're supposed to be rising above chimp, our monkey. And but it's like, this is sickening. And the fact that these women drag children into this is beyond the pale. Like, it's one thing, it is horrible that they're dragging men into their bullshit, but kids have absolutely no ability to get out of this with a woman who's willing to break their relationship, one of the most important relationships in their life, that will determine their happiness, their success, their autonomy, their self, whether or not they value themselves. And these women are willing to break that relationship for money.
Mm-hmm.
It's despicable. All right. Next.
All right. Yeah, playing the next.
How many more? How many more?
There's only like 3 left.
Oh, okay.
What do I do if a Dusty won't leave me alone and is trying to get between me and my provider? Just tell him you're pregnant. Lie, baby, lie. Say I'm pregnant by my provider. We
Um,
gon'
who are these people dealing with? Like are we back to like the mating mounds, like the Topi antelope? They all have like this, like, and you're just doing eyeballing each other from the bushes. Like, why?
I don't know if you guys heard all that or not, because the scene changed because Allison couldn't stay quiet for a second. But she said that essentially women should lie to men and tell them they're pregnant by another man to get rid of them. And by the way, this is okay. That's bad enough. But when you consider all of the horror stories of women claiming much worse than I am pregnant by another man, but things like I am pregnant by a man and that man raped me when she actually cheated. And this happens all the time. And the reason why it happens all the time is because we as a society tolerate it. We're just like, well, that's what you get to the man. So remember, when this woman says lie, it's fine. This is like setting the precedent for all the dishonesty and manipulation that happens in, like, why are all these people on Maury Povich talking about you are not the father? That's why. It's because of people like this. Anyway.
I just what baffles me is, why is this Dusty able to get in between your relationship with you and your provider?
Yeah, what does that even mean, the provider? Does he know about the Dusty?
Jesus Christ. I can't.
I'm just saying, like, I'm sorry, but this is just, to me, it's just, I don't care how effective it is. I don't care how strategically viable it is. It's immoral. You need to find a better way. That's all it is. It's immoral, and it's going to lead to problems. It's going to lead to problems.
Well, it's immoral, but, you know, like, she is nothing. No amount of saying it's immoral is going to penetrate her audience. The only thing that might start to penetrate is it's ineffective, and you are being played for a fool. She is destroying your life in order to justify her own choices. She's counseling, and she's probably enjoying the whole process of destroying other women's shot at happiness in order to make herself feel more alpha, and also to justify her own choices. That is what I think is going on here. So listen to her at your peril. And this is the thing. Look at what she has. Is that the life you want? If you're a person who values only the material things, is that the material setup that will satisfy you? Well, if it is, then listen to her advice. For me, I don't necessarily value material things over much. I like being comfortable. I value personal skills and the ability to express myself and creativity and purpose more than anything else. For me, but if I were a person who put my value in things, they wouldn't be those things. Okay.
I'm gonna play more. This is well, it's like a couple left. Okay, so let's do this one now.
The other way around. You already impressed them when they approached you and asked you for that number. Okay. You don't pay for nothing on no dates, and you expect and treat them as a provider only. They start talking dusty, you dismiss them and never go back again. You don't bring nothing to the table. Period.
Well, you are the table.
Yeah, I think that's her point. She won't bring nothing to the table, period. Even though generally people find self-actualization in the things that they do bring to the table. That's where you find purpose.
Yep. All right, next one. This is just to give you an idea of what she thinks about the average man, or even men, not even the average man. What she thinks about the men that she would consider spending time with, blessing them with her presence. This is what she thinks about them. So next time clip 212. Okay, here we go.
What do you think of these men that want women to settle for a walk on the first date? I think that you should tell them that you're going to be there and you don't show up. And they'll be walking alone and get the picture. Like,
that was a short one. So basically, if you know how we talk about, like, you'll see people talking about, like, you know, what's a good idea for a first date? Because you don't want to, like, overspend. You don't know how it's going to turn out. Again, things are tough out here. People can't afford groceries or gas thanks to women's voting patterns. But anyway, I digress. And yet men are still expected to shell out all kinds of. I remember the woman who was like, she had a conniption because this dude had the audacity to take her to Cheesecake Factory. So sometimes what's a good idea for a first date is something where there isn't a lot of investment and you can just like spend some time, get to know each other. So the suggestion was going for a walk. Now I might have, like, you know, shelled out a little bit, like, oh, let's have coffee or something. But sometimes that's all you can do. And again, men want to know why women are interested in them. So maybe it is a good idea to keep your, you know, your cards close to your chest. And she says, well, don't date. So basically, if you don't have anything to offer materially, don't bother. In fact, deceive them. Tell them you're going to be there and then don't show up. And then they'll learn. So.
Or maybe they'll just go for a walk.
Or maybe they'll just go for a walk. Right.
Yeah, I generally walk at this park at this time. You can join me if you wish, and we can have a chat. And if you don't drive, you don't show up, well, I'm get my walk in for the day.
All right, last one. Can't believe we're going to get through these. 308.25. So like right here. That's good enough. All right, here we go.
when you get a young man, they haven't experienced life enough yet. They don't know what else is out there. They don't know if you're the best. They don't know if you're great compared to other women, and they want to find out. So
do they
want to commit? They want to see what's out there. That's why I tell y'all to date older men. They're faster to commit because they've already been there and they know what's out there.
And they have more. I mean, the truth is, older men have more resources. They have more money in the bank. You can tell if their potential has been realized. And so therefore, again, it's a shortcut. It's a shortcut to the top.
it's so funny because lots of societies did that in the past. They would pair women at their most fertile peak, or even like a little bit before, but they wouldn't like that. Usually if they married young, they would have a few years to get used to running the household before anything, give it a few years, and then you get to the point where they actually will survive childbirth, because our ancestors were a little bit concerned about things like that. And so you'd pair girls or young women at their most fertile period with men who had already proven themselves economically. But that was oppression, apparently.
Women are still oppressed today, Alison. Do you see the quality of this woman's furnishings? Obviously, she is essentially a slave to the system.
Been throwing shade on her furnishings and I'm not. My furnishings are not better, but then again, I don't take value from them.
Yep.
So there's the difference. I'm just saying, if I were to take value from the things that I own more than, my own creative endeavors and purpose, I would have better things. Well, than what she has.
All right. Well, those are all the clips that I had that I was willing to bear.
Those were all the clips.
But it gives you the sense. It gives you I just want it just gives you the sense of what's going on.
Yeah.
What?
Everybody.
Yeah, go ahead.
We took her out of context. Feel free to watch the entire 3.5 hours of this woman.
Yeah. Let me know what you guys think in the comments.
Yeah, sure.
I mean,
maybe
I
there was
just
like
don't. I don't think.
Shangri-La.
Look, you can. If you're a woman and you agree with this, I'm not telling you not to do it. Do whatever you want. Have whatever strategy you want. Do whatever you need to do. But I don't think it is a good long-term solution. I don't think it's going to work out for you. But good luck.
Well, let's put it this way. Her long-term solution has got her square in the income bracket of a woman who is like the stay-at-home wife of a man who's making like 50K, 45, 50K. You know, a frugal lifestyle. So unless and by her own admission, she wouldn't be dating such a man. So that lifestyle that she has to be her own labor. Maybe it's the YouTube videos, who knows? So what is the benefit of listening to her tell you to leave men who are affording you a reasonable lifestyle? Right? What is the benefit? Like, even if we just bring it down to the material and forget the ethics, the morality, and believe me, my stomach is churning to do this because it disgusts me. But let's just bring it down to the material, right? Her strategy is not getting her a better life than lower middle class. So if your man is able to provide you that life and you're able to have a part-time job or work an easier job that has a bit more flexibility or take care of your children more or whatever, why would you listen to this woman? And if you're about to be set up in that lifestyle, why would you listen to this woman? And if you're about to get an engineer who's going to earn 4 times what she apparently has in terms of her income, why would you listen to this woman? On a material level, this is dumb. She doesn't have a good strategy. Her strategy is failure and cope. Is that what you're listening to? Failure and cope? An excuse why you don't have to make any effort at all to get a relationship and to find purpose? You can just continue to stay in that state of almost being picked as your identity and then say to every other woman who's like, yeah, I just want to get on with my life. Oh, you're the pick me. Yeah, well, I didn't care about being picked. I just wanted to get to the next part. Like, who is the pick me? The women who stay in the continuous state of waiting to be picked and wanting to see themselves. They see themselves that their value is in getting the very, very, being picked by the very, very, very best top thing that they can get. Or the women who are like, that is irrelevant. Let me get on with my life. Who is the fucking pick me? And who is the dusty, right? Who is the dusty man? Who is the high value man, the provider man? Well, high value. She doesn't use high value. Who's the high? Is the high value man a man who sees himself exclusively in how he serves women? Or is it a man who understands his own purpose and realizes that his time is valuable, his resources are valuable, and he wants a partner, not an infant in the shape of a 45-year-old woman?
All right. Well, we can wrap it up.
Sure.
I'm done. Okay.
Done. Okay. Well, let me see. We probably don't have any thank yous because I don't have the thing up yet. But yeah, thank you to everybody who sent in a Super Chow. If you enjoy this content, or you don't have anything left to say, I said it all, or.
Well, what do I add? I mean, she's a cunt. She should deserve to die alone. But I mean, like, whatever. But there's probably a simp somewhere that's going to give her what she asked for, and she's probably going to be okay. And that's okay. I mean, what are you going to do? Like, you know, God
takes care of all of his creatures.
Yeah, I don't pretend to tell people what's best for them. But I do think that men should be aware of what's going on out here with these women, or at least some of these women that are playing these games, so that they don't buy into the lie that this never happens because women are angels, because they're not. And that's basically that's my thesis, as it were. Women are not angels. Some of them are extremely twisted and materialistic and manipulative.
Okay.
And you should know what to look for so you can avoid them.
On the level of strategy, she is poor. On the level of ethics and morality, I can't even articulate her.
Yeah.
It's like, I can't even, like, I don't even want to look at her through the lens of ethics or morality because I think I would burn out my eyes.
Mm-hmm.
So I might as well just go down and look at the term, just in terms of material. Is this a viable strategy? No, it's not. It is not. And furthermore, I'll just say one thing. The true purpose of life is to love and be loved. You are opting out of this using this strategy if you're a woman. Okay? You know, I mean, I'm not saying that you have to go with broke men, but be reasonable and be willing to put your shoulder to the task too. Because there's something to be said for the relationship with the self and the understanding of your own autonomy and being able to live a purposeful life. And she's not offering that. And nor is she offering anything really great in terms of material success. So 750,000 subs. God, Lord.
Well, there's a difference between the kind of content that men watch on YouTube and the kind of content that women watch on YouTube, as well as podcasting. So women just have different preferences.
Yeah, that's true. Apparently so. Okay, so that's, if you have any comments you want to leave on this content you want us to respond to on the next show that's sort of in the same ballpark as this one, please leave them at feedthebadger.com/justthetip. Very best way to send us a message because it stays. You know, it goes into our Discord and we can see it. And the very best way to send us a tip. We also, if you're interested, you can join our Discord at badgernation.online. And if you would like to listen to more of our content that's sort of patron exclusive, you can do so at feedthebadger.com/subscribe. So those are the options to get a hold of us, join our community, and also get additional content. And I'll hand it back to you, Brian.
Okay, well, if you guys like this video, please smash like, subscribe if you're not already subscribed. Hit the bell for notifications. Leave us a comment. Let us know what you guys think about what we discussed on the show today. And please, please, please share this video because sharing is caring. Thank you so much for coming on today's episode of the dating show. And we'll talk to you all in the next one. Have a good night, everybody.
Are machines, dude. Okay? They are literal machines. They are talking point machines. They are impossible to fucking deal with, especially if you have like a couple dudes who have good memory on top of that too. Holy shit, you're fucked.